And there it is. That still looks absolutely brilliant. This is actually a really old background that Sam hand painted a couple of years ago for a previous Adorama TV video. It's not going to be the oldest thing on this video. Actually, that's me now I think about it. But other than that, this is a really old window, and it actually is the window from my garden shed. That really is. That's going to be very handy. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. And today I'm going to be shooting an ice cold portrait in my nice warm small home studio. Now, whilst I'm getting everything set up, you should be clicking on the subscribe button and the bell icon, and then you won't miss any videos right here on Adorama TV. So let's get a light set, let's get a model in, let's get shooting. So to help me out today, I've got the amazing Chloe. Chloe is the model and the makeup artist for this shoot. And as you can see, she's got quite a wintry, cold theme going on. And it's that feel that I want to bring through in the final photos. Now, I'm going to use several lights to light Chloe, so I'm going to break it down one light at a time. Let's get the camera and take some test shots. I'm going to take a picture without any flash firing, just to see what we get in the room. No flash, no picture. Now we can start to add in our own lights. Let's talk about the key light that I've got here. It's a Flashpoint Explore 300. It's in a 70cm softbox with a grid to give my light direction, because what I'm trying to avoid is actually lighting the background with this light. That's going to be the job of another light. I'm working at f5.6, so I need this light to meet at f5.6. Chloe, I'm going to pop my flash meter near your chin, and I'm getting f5.6. Absolutely perfect, that's a bit of luck. Okay, let's take a test shot with just the key light, see how it looks. Okay, Chloe, here we go. And that looks great. I can see Chloe clearly against the background, but the background is really dark. Also, the right-hand side of Chloe is a little bit in shadow too, and it's that I'm going to fix next. This is going to be a separation light. I'm going to use it to put a little tiny bit of light just onto Chloe's shoulder and her hair. It'll add a little bit of separation from the dark background. It's not really that I want though. It also adds a bit more 3 dimensions to the shot. So that's what it's going to do, but the position of it is really important, because if I have it angled towards Chloe's shoulder, some of the light will spill onto the background, and I really want this background to stay dark. You'll see why in a second. So I'm actually going to spin it well away from Chloe and even more away from the background. So now I can't see the surface of that softbox, and this background should stay reasonably dark. Let's just see if it works. I'll take a test picture and see what we get. Okay, Chloe, here we go. That works really well. There's a little dash of light on Chloe's right-hand side as we look at this picture, but the background has remained reasonably dark. The whole reason for keeping the background dark is because of this light. This third light is just a background light. It's just going to point at the background, and that's going to allow me to control how much brightness there is on this background. So this is a smaller Flashpoint Evolve 200. It's more than capable of lighting that background. In fact, at the moment it's on 1/64th power, so that's not particularly bright. Let's see what it looks like with a test shot. And I think that's really good. I like that. That has a nice illumination to it. But now we've got to sort out the colour, because at the moment it all feels kind of normal, and I want this to feel cold. So at the moment I'm in the standard flash white balance, normally where I would be for this sort of shoot. I'm going to set a custom white balance of 3800K, and I'm going to dial in just a little bit of green as well, just to add a sort of a greenish, bluish tint to the photo. That feels much more wintry, which is kind of what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, everything is now set up, so let's take a few pictures like this. So Chloe, are you ready? Okay, let's take some shots. These are looking absolutely fantastic, I love it. But let's give you a prop to work with. you can see, things have changed ever so slightly. I've added this picture frame in front of Chloe, and if you look closely at the picture frame, you'll notice it has a frosty effect. Now that's Sam's handiwork with a little bit of Epsom salts and a little bit of bubble fluid and a little bit of water and a few hours to dry. It creates this effect on glass. Now, I've still got my light in the same place. I'm going to lose the grid for this because I don't think I'm going to need it. Okay, Chloe, let's just take a test shot, see what we get. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious that there is a definite problem with this shot because that is a large reflection off the glass of the softbox, so we need to move it around. So I've checked the metering, it's still f5.6, but you'll notice the light is now well up there in the air. Let's take a test shot. I've turned all of the other lights off, by the way, so this is just the key light. Here we go. And straight away you can see that is looking promising. We've got a little bit more work to do, but that is a really good start. I've just turned on the separation light. It's still in the same place, it's still at the same power. Let's just see how this adds to this particular setup. Here we go, Chloe. And this time the separation light is coming back through the glass and illuminating my frosty effect. And the more I increase the brightness, the brighter that becomes. And then finally there's the background light. Now arguably I don't necessarily need the background light for this, because if you want to see the frosty effect, you really only see it against a dark background. I'm going to put it on just on a very low power. Let's just see how this looks. Okay, Chloe, here we go, quick test shot. And that just puts a little bit more illumination back there without losing the frosty effect. But when you go close, you can see that there is a little bit of an issue here because the frosty effect goes all over this piece of glass and we can't really see Chloe through it. Just as if this was a real frosty window on a frosty day, I'm actually going to scrape some of the frost off. Now, I can only do this once. This is a one-take thing, so I'm going to take a little bit out from the middle. Okay, there's a little clear patch just in the middle. That looks really good. When I look up close, I can see Chloe's eye is perfectly in focus, but the frost is a little bit soft. So I'm going to change my aperture to get a bit more depth of field. I was at f5.6. I'm going to change it to f11. So to equal up my exposure, I'm just going to change my lights, each of them by 6 clicks. That's 2 stops of light. So I'll do that for all 3. There we go, that's better. So now we've got the frost in focus and we've got Chloe's eye in focus. That's great. Okay, I'm just going to take some more off. It's actually on really firm. To mix it up a little bit, I'm going to swap out to the other frame, which is actually my shed window. I'm going to get Chloe to hold this one, which will make it much easier to set up, but it really will limit the poses that Chloe can do. If you don't have a real frosty frame, don't worry, I've created a virtual one that you can download free of charge from my website at gavtrain.com. Actually, there's 2 of them. Just click on the link and download and feel free to use them. So here is the second one, and all I'm going to do is go to Select and All, and then Edit and Copy. And inside of Photoshop, now all I need to do is paste that on to a final image, which is going to be this one of Chloe. So edit and paste. Now when I do that, I'll get a brand new layer that slightly covers the image. All I need to do is make a couple of changes. The first one is obviously size. So I'm going to come up to edit and then free transform and just drag out the corner handles so the new frosty frame completely covers the image. Click on the tick to commit to the change.
Then I'm going to come to the layers here in Photoshop and change it from normal blending mode to screen blending mode, and that's basically it. It just works straight like that. Now there are a few things we can do to make this a little bit better. So if we go in close, we can see it's all good, there's nothing wrong with it, but maybe I'd like to remove some of the frost from in front of Chloe's eyes. So to do that, I'm actually going to switch off the background layer. I'm going to get my color sample, which currently is black and white. I'm actually going to click on the foreground color, which is actually black at the moment, and choose a gray from this image. Now you might think, why am I not choosing black? It's because it's not quite black. It's important that it is not quite black, otherwise you'll really see what we're about to do. It'll look wrong. I'll turn the background layer back on again. There we go. And then I'm going to get a paintbrush, get the brush tool with a nice small brush, and we're just going to remove a few of the bits of frost from in front of Chloe's eye, and maybe a little bit off her lips like that. There we go, or at least off her teeth, and maybe a little bit off in front of this eye. Now I don't want to do too much because of course that rather defeats the object of doing this. Just enough so we can see something going on there, and we can be a bit more selective. And I'm doing this very, very slowly with a very small brush just to sort of make it all look about right, as if I was just scratching it off in the real world. Okay, so there we go, that's done. One final thing to do here is to come up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and then on the Hue Saturation box, which is just off the screen, there we go, I'm just going to click on the Colorize option and then colorize the icy, frosty frame to match the picture below. So it needs to be probably for me up in the high 180, 190, something like that. And there you go, there's my final picture completed. Right, well, I guess I should probably go and put the window back in the shed before it actually freezes for real out there. Oh, speaking of real, when it came to lighting Chloe, it made no difference whether I was using a real frosted window or the virtual one. The lighting was exactly the same on both. Now, if you've enjoyed this video or you've got any questions, leave me a comment below. Click on the bell icon and you'll never miss a video right here on Adorama TV. We have new stuff pretty much every single day. And of course, remember to click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.